And the game award goes to Clair Obscur, Expedition 33.
Nate's watching a Game Awards show. I have not been watching it. Catch us up, Hal.
Yeah, so far, Expedition 33, the game we are currently covering, has won being everything. Basically, if there's a category it lightly brushes against, music, art direction, design, etc., yeah, it won. It beat everything else. Hey, I'm excited, and I'm feeling it. We're getting there as we dip our toes further into this game, right?
Yes, please. Expedition 33 time.
Yep.
Yeah, baby. So my heart got broken last time, and yours probably did too. And there's really got to be something to be said about a game, or say a media entity that can make you feel as tender as a guy like me can within about an hour of gameplay, probably less. So if I'm going to teleport myself back to that moment in the gameplay, like the emotion is running out of me and trying to relax, and hey, there's a party to help me relax. This is the send-off festival for the expedition that's going to set out like that night or like at dawn next morning, because we're not actually done with the prologue.
Right. And I'll add this as well, as I'm talking about the Game Awards, but now that we're into the game, that very emotional scene, the Game Awards were opened with I don't know if it's the theme song for the game or a similarly moving ballad. I don't want to spoil myself with anything by trying to look up what that song was. You know, you can always find like, this is the song from the moment that blah did blah, you know, and like that. I'm not willing to go into that territory. It's a very good song, but it also featured the composer. Did we say it was Lorien Testart? Is that the name?
Sounds right.
Riffing on a guitar for like 3 minutes straight, doing a massive guitar solo and everything. Yeah, that was pretty awesome. Check that out if you haven't already seen it, listener. And you too, Tyler. But yeah, those emotions, these people know what they're doing. They get you good.
Sandfall is elevated to rock stars. That's interesting.
Yeah.
That is an interesting evolution. My God.
And I say this with like the most respectful way, not like being an online weirdo chud person. Everybody in the, like their seating section is so gorgeous that it's like, man, I don't know what they've got going on over there. It's just incredibly, it must be just good vibes that everybody shows up. They're all dressed like mimes too. It's kind of hilarious. And Jennifer English won voice actor performance, the Mael character.
Everything sounds good when I say it.
But yeah, so it's been crazy. But yeah, let's hop into this party.
All right. So we're trying to loosen up. There's a lot of NPCs to talk to in this harbor area. And I have this whole interaction, this whole party broken out into individual conversations with individual NPCs in the order in which I interacted with them, which is probably different from Nate's experience and probably different from viewers. Do you mind if we go down the list like that?
Yeah, that works great. I mean, I don't think it affects, from what I perceive from your list, talking to one before the other doesn't change anything.
Yeah, I don't think so either, but I thought I'd ask. Okay, so right away, we're intercepted by Lucien and Catherine. I've got Lucien on my list first, though. They're trying to cheer up Gustav with some drink. He accepts, but he's still very standoffish. And a throughput for all of these, most of these interactions is like, we've got to get drinking the wine. It's important we loosen up and have some wine, Nate.
Could use a drink.
There's something about putting a glass of wine in his hand, but also not paying careful attention to hold that glass of wine upright that I found just oddly hilarious in this whole exchange.
Seems like a nice enough guy. And most of these people are expeditioners. Lucien is. Catherine is too. Catherine recognizes that there are more tables this year than there were for the 34s. So we should feel very fortunate about that. Asks Gustav to thank your sister for us, that being Emma. I suppose Emma's throwing the party. So we know that Gustav has a sister named Emma and has something to do with all of this. We'll meet her soon enough. And we also learned that she's an ex of Derek, and I don't know who Derek is. But I went over to the dock to run into Mael again, and she's all suited up. She's an expeditioner as well, but she's younger than 33. and it looks like, well, she's going on the mission. Did you know this before this moment, or did you kind of get a sense that would be the case, Nate?
I didn't know it before them. She might have said something. There might have been some aspect of them laying groundwork for this, but yeah, you're correct in that this is the first time it was clear, especially with the whole uniform and everything, that it's like official.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned her age. They say 9 years until your gamage with Mael. So you kind of got to do some math there. You can't just 33 minus 9. That's not what we're talking about, because it's counting in both directions. So currently Mael is 15, because you got to put that 9 forward and backwards at the same time.
Wow.
So yeah, quite young to be going on essentially a death mission. Something that I found interesting that Gustav is saying, you don't need to go, you're young, you still have great years ahead of you, you could go on a later expedition, yada yada, but she has this connection to him. He is her only family, and she says to Gustav, hey, you have friends and family who actually want you here. But it's like his time is running out. That won't be true for very long. He'll just be another gamage victim.
Mm-hmm.
He says that she has the same. She has people that care about her and love her, etc. And she doesn't feel that way. She doesn't feel connected to anyone but him. And so it's kind of interesting. There's an energy here that like I recognize of, somebody in my life, in real life, not in my life currently, but like in my past. You love them and you care about them and you want the best for them. And it doesn't matter how much you try and like help them. And not in like tangible ways, but just like emotional ways of like, hey, people do care about you. People do want to hear from you, etc. That they just will not see that, they will not recognize, like, I don't know how to explain it.
Oh, I get it, dude.
Like, you're fine. You can do this. It felt like a very real moment, him saying that and her responding with essentially, if you're going to die, Gustav, I'm coming to die with you. That's a very strong sentiment.
Yes. And then she challenges us to a fight for a festival token.
Yes.
There are 3 vendors we're going to meet, and they each will accept a token for something. And she's got one of them. And in my first play of this game, because I replayed this to accomplish all of the things in the prologue that you did and I didn't since we last chatted, it took me like 7 or 9 tries to beat her.
Yeah.
It took me a long time to get her. I'm not used to it. Like I said, now after replaying it, now getting it a little more into the rhythm of the game, I'm better. But at the time, I'm still telling myself this might as well be hard mode. This might as well be, are you alive or are you dead on a turn-by-turn basis for me.
Right.
But I've since improved, I promise.
Gotcha. That's good. Well, there will be a test later of whether you've improved enough.
Yes.
We'll cover that soon. I did not need multiple attempts, and it struck me. There's deep emotions going on in this, and then she asked for the fight. And both times, both in the training tutorial and now here too, the fight is ended when I absolutely obliterate her face with overcharge. Like the way the screen, the sound effects and the screen, and how like when you finish a fight it freeze frames, it's just his fist, her face, and the sound of crackling eruption filling my headphones. I was like, dear God, she is dead. I just killed this child.
Yeah, a huge flash of orange light with like trails racing past her because the energy is blowing past her body. It's crazy. Yeah. No, I feel you, man.
Right.
But I did beat her, and I think that's about it for Mael.
Right.
I have Seba next. Don't have much on Seba, Expeditioner, Optimist, or an Idiot, depending on who you ask. Nate, anything on this one?
I hear Ben Starr in the voice. Final Fantasy 16 Clive fame, if you don't know who I'm talking about, that is Ben Starr. He's in like a billion games now. Apparently his career has erupted. But also, Final Fantasy 8 is his favorite game as well. So we know how he got this job. He didn't even audition. He just called up the head of the company and said, I also love Final Fantasy 8. And he got the role.
We can only hope. Are you saying this is Ben Starr, or you're supposing it's Ben Starr?
I'm hearing Ben Starr and instinctively knowing that it's Ben Starr from hearing Ben Starr.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't looked it up to confirm it. We have our, what's the guy's name? Metalface Mumcar, that asshole.
Oh.
We have the looking up the voice actor for Metalface fiasco to deal with. So I no longer look up voice actors, and also even just when seeing Expedition 33 content anywhere, I kind of just turn it off and say, nope, I don't Don't want to know anything. Shut your mouth.
Yeah. Reddit's been filtering a little bit of that at me, and I muted the community.
Yeah.
Feeling you.
Block them. Ban them.
Next one, Jules, child, part of a quest that I didn't know about my first playthrough because I didn't have the quest. Because you start the quest in the other half of the prologue where you talk to his father, and he's been like stitching an outfit for his son, and then I think he passes. I can't remember all of a sudden. And so we deliver the coat to the son. The son says, thank you very much, but I think it would be better on you. Looks better on you. It's your size or something like that. And we earn an outfit transmog.
Yeah.
And I have you to thank for that because I didn't get that on my first playthrough. When I replayed it, I found him.
Yes. I'm in a predicament where my first playthrough, I did get it, but there's other things I missed. My second playthrough, I missed this and got other things. So I think I'm just going to roll with it. I remember the transmog was just a recolor, and I wasn't particularly in love with the recolor. Is that correct? Is it the same outfit, just a different color?
It looks pretty similar.
Yeah.
I didn't look at it very hard, quite honestly. But I got something to tell you about missing stuff. So in my first playthrough, I did all the tokens and I got all the items. I guess I'm getting a little ahead of myself, but one of the items is another transmog, changes your haircut.
Right.
And I couldn't figure out how to change the hair back because he looks very nice now, very cleaned up, and I really like his rugged, grizzled, semi-grizzled look. And I couldn't figure out how to change it, and I just assumed that his hair was just changed. And so when I played the replay of the game, I completely skipped. I got the third token, did not get the haircut, and then later discovered after the prologue ended and I can't go back that it's in the appearance menu.
Yeah.
In the appearance sub-menu in the proper menu. It isn't just your outfit transmog, there's also a haircut menu in there. And so that ship sailed for me. Or maybe we can go back in some sort of, well, God knows what's in the future, right?
I don't know. I can't confirm this, but games like to do things where like there's some sort of vendor later who it's like, here's all the stuff you missed, except it's more expensive now. I'm always cool with that kind of thing. Like if you did in the moment, you got it for cheap. If you missed it, you can get it later, but it's going to be a pain in the ass. I'm down for that.
What do you even spend Lumina on? Figured that out yet?
That's a good question. We'll have to see. Like, we're not at a point where we've like settled anywhere yet. And I don't know, are we having like a Final Fantasy X experience where there are no towns? Are we ever going to meet other people? Or is this the expedition is the expedition? Like you are in the wilds for 30 hours. That's a question we'll have to see how it plays out because I honestly do not know.
Yeah, I don't know. Next I've got Lucy.
In the Sky.
Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, Aerith in the Sky and Rainbows. She signed up and she quit. And so her position is people think of me as a coward. And I think Gustav, in maybe a more charitable context, is sort of in that camp. But her position is, well, choosing to live my life as I please is how I fight the Paintress. She doesn't control me. She doesn't compel me to do anything.
Right. And Gustav has a line that says, accepting the unacceptable is something he can't stand for. He finds it like that what the Paintress is doing is the greatest crime anyone can imagine, and thus he can't abide it. Whereas she's saying like, I don't have the power to stop her, so I'm not going to let her define my life. I remember this quote, the show Community.
Yes.
It's a comedy show. It's well written. There's nothing particularly like life-changing about it or whatever. But I think very early in the show, there's a quote I always remember about Troy Baker. He's trying to be a jock. He's trying to, obviously fit in with, he just came from high school and he has all those expectations and norms of that. And is it Jeff Winger? Is that the main character?
You got it. Joel McHale.
Yeah, he gives him the line. He says about this like leather jacket from being the high school jock. He says, whether you put the jacket on or take the jacket off. I'm not getting the quote correctly, but put the jacket on, take the jacket off. You're still doing it for them.
You lose the jacket to please them. You keep it to piss them off. Either way, it's for them.
I think about that to this day. Like, are you doing this because you're responding to someone else thinking about something about you or capitulating to them or trying to win favor, or are you doing this because this is exactly what you want? And you might relate to this in like being in a second marriage. Mm-hmm. And this is, I'm not saying anything about my wife. I'm saying about approaching the idea of even being in a major relationship for a second time. That was something definitely in the mind of like, am I doing this because this is what I want, or am I doing this because this is what's expected of me? This is what society says. Hey, you get back on the horse, you get back out there, you gotta pick yourself up and not let this define you. And it's like, well, if I get back out there, to not be defeated by the prior situation, that's like putting the jacket on. If I don't get back out there, because then I'm taking the jacket off.
You just wrinkled my brain, man.
I need to redefine my life on my terms. There was a period of time investigating that.
That sounds tough. All right, next up, Tristan. Tristan's got a lot to say about Lune, who we'll meet in just a hot second here. Lune's been acting kind of distant lately. Well, it's Lune, says Gustav. Tristan apprenticed with Lune's parents, who ran a tight ship, and maybe they're reserved, detached. We're getting a read on Lune, who we haven't met yet. But she played guitar in the prior half of the prologue, didn't she? Under that statue.
Right. Yep.
Barefoot.
When I hear tight ship, I think hard ass. I think like you don't get away with anything. If you don't get an A+ on your tests, you're not getting dinner.
Sure.
I'm not saying that that's the case. I'm saying that's how I interpret tight ship. I guess tight ship makes me think military. So maybe like military father, warrior father.
Oh, sure. Okay.
That might be what they're dealing with parents.
All for it, man.
Perhaps prior expeditioners.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Bastien, he's a younger fellow by a year. He's going to be commander of Expedition 32. Probably not going on this mission. Together they recite the Expeditioner's Pledge. When one falls, we continue. We pick up and we push on. Of course, if Bastien's going to be activated for Expedition 32, that's going to mean that Gustav fails, but we all have a good attitude about it, because what's important is the continued, the sustained effort. We don't quit. We're going to keep expeditioning until we solve this horrific cataclysm, this curse that we're under attack from. Next up, apprentices Alexander, Guillaume, and Adrienne. They hand us a field notes journal, and Gustav promises to record every strange and wonderful thing on his adventure, so long as the apprentices look after the shield dome and nevrons. Well, what's a nevron? We'll find out what a nevron is soon enough. That's a pretty unusual word, but we're going to look out for nevrons. Don't know what the shield dome is. Doesn't feel like the City Lumiere is underneath a shield dome. Maybe it is and we can't see it, but I don't know what that means. Maybe it's protecting some headquarters or something.
Right. There's been discussion with other characters. I don't know if you caught this. I think they asked something along the lines of, do you think any other places in the world survived, or there's other people out there somewhere? And the discussion was whether they would have had enough time to erect their own shield domes. That kind of hints that there's a technology that predates. You would be aware that potentially a cataclysm is going to happen, and you have technology in this vein, because we need more details, but I would think this cataclysm happening, like, it just happens, and then you have to make a snap decision to survive it, and that this was the means by which they survive it, if they're saying other places in the world could have their own shield domes. So that's about all we know about them at this point. But I'm watching on the side here. Expedition 33 just won another award. Okay. So best director or direction. So yeah.
Interacting with these apprentices cues up Emma's appearance on the other side of the side we started at, but I'm not done yet talking to NPCs. But there's a little scene that plays that shows her walking up. Next, I have Antoine. Oh, very good. Antoine. Next, we have Antoine. Thank you, Nate. Who seems to be behind Gustav for the undisputed expert of expedition history. Bald dude, nice guy, speaks very formally. And if we answered 3 quiz questions, he will give us a festival token. Nate, how many years ago was the first expedition?
67.
Everyone knows this because the monolith is a reverse calendar counting down since the fracture happened in, quote, year 100. Nate, we have a name for the cataclysm.
The Fracture.
The Fracture.
Also, this character, I'm dubbing him the Expedition Exposition Expert.
Next question, Nate. Which was the first expedition to go to the continent? Give me the name of the first expedition.
Well, this one, I wasn't sure if I had the right answer, but I went with Expedition 0, and I was right.
But wait, shouldn't it be called Expedition 100?
No, it's a gripe. He has that same gripe as you, Tyler. Now, I'll say this. Clair Obscur, Expedition 33. They made a very bold choice with that name. They made a choice of, we are going to favor our art over perhaps marketability. Because when you think about it, either Expedition 33 or I honestly think Expedition Zero, not that it'd make any sense to call it this, but like that's a badass name. And when I hear it, all I can do is like I picture like this non-existent 90s movie cover. You'd see it like Family Video. It's got Sean Connery and Kurt Russell looking sweaty amidst like a big matte painting of some like adventure location, right?
Yes.
And you just knew like you would see that box on the shelf back when we rented movies and like had to spend $2.99 and make a decision, not just like browse for hours, right? You would look at that and be like, this looks badass. I want to see this. Now, this movie doesn't exist, nor has Sean Connery or Kurt Russell ever been in a major film before. But that's how I feel when I hear Expedition Zero. What do you think?
Yeah, it's pretty badass.
Nice.
Yeah, I think it's funny. I think it's a fun little nuance to be like, for there to be generational inconsistency, I think that brings a lot of life into the world, because life is kind of like that. Like history is lumpy and the texts are inconsistent and not every narrator is reliable, and that these added layers of reality just makes the world all the more believable. Well, yeah, I mean, that made sense then, but things have changed. Now we do it this way. I love it. I think that's great.
You think people in the trenches of Europe are like, this is World War One?
No, I don't. No, of course not. But you see shit like that all the time. I subscribe to this RPG page on Facebook, and it was Final Fantasy 1 week. And I don't want to be pedantic, but that game's not called Final Fantasy 1.
Yeah, the original.
The original, yeah, OG. Or maybe they did. Maybe it is officially named that in the Pixel Remaster. Now that we live in the Pixel Remasterverse. Anyways, last question. Nate, what is Lumina? And you have a multiple choice question where 3 of the 4 answers are these really abbreviated short answers, and then 1 is this long technical answer that like gets into a couple threads of how it all makes sense.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to the one that they had to put extensive thought into, but I will let you explain it because I'm not even sure I fully grasp this answer.
I'm glad you said that, Nate. Well, the correct answer, the selectable answer, is abilities you internalize by absorbing Pictos in battle after enough times. And so I couple what I already know with a little bit of basic information that I also got from online resources. And I'm just going to do a quick and dirty about Pictos and Luminas right now, so we don't have to get into the cattails with it later on.
Mm-hmm.
As far as I know, this is all accurate. Well, we're not in the business of doing podcasts that are just factually inaccurate. The quick and dirty is Pictos are abilities that a character can equip. Characters can equip up to 3 Pictos at a time. What's included in a Picto is it has a stat increase and some other effect. For example, earn 1 ability point after dodging an attack, which we'll get later on in the next chapter here in the next section. After winning 4 battles with a Picto equipped, the and some other effect component of the Picto becomes available for all characters, which they now call a Lumina. Note that the Lumina is just the effect, not the stat increase. That stays with the Picto. Each Lumina is worth a certain amount of Lumina points. Characters can equip as many Luminas as they have Lumina points to spend. When you unequip them, you get the points back. Characters increase the amount of Lumina points they have by leveling up and using a rare consumable that I don't think we've run into yet. Therefore, since some builds are constrained by each character's Lumina point economy, the way I see it, it follows that if a character wants to use a Lumina but doesn't have the points for it, just equip the Picto that the Lumina came from. You'll get the Lumina's effect and the Picto's stat boost.
I think a game that's already done this system and it's kind of inspired by is Final Fantasy IX.
Yeah.
You equip things, you use them. After using them enough, you have the permanent ability to use whatever features that weapon or gear had, but you now have a budget to spend on those. So somewhat similar in my mind. So I've simplified in my head that way. Once I kind of, this explanation didn't help me, and I don't even think the tutorial helped me that much. It really came down to just doing it out in the world, and I was like, oh, okay, I see what's happening now.
Mm-hmm.
Some pretty cool stuff, you know. Obviously, this is the kind of thing we've talked about in other RPGs where it's like numbers go up is not nearly of as much interest to me. And when we covered 7 Remake first, I forget what it's called. Basically, those weapon upgrades where you went into like the universe.
Oh, yes.
And it was just a lot of like, it was a lot of strength go up, HP go up, slot. I guess slots are more utility, but like this has a lot more things in the vein of like, yes, it's a numbers go up thing, but it's very like in relation to what is your build? What are you doing? So like there's stuff based on burns, there's stuff based on critical strikes, stuff based on, are you good at dodging? Are you actually going to be performing those dodges or parries? You know, so if you see yourself doing those things, if you like, there's options for your characters, and you pretty quickly have enough to where you do need to be making those choices and not just like, oh, hey, I've had one Picto for the last 2 hours, you know. Basically, in this play session, I had a full kit that I was choosing between, and like, oh, I'd rather have this than this. So that seems cool that there's an abundance of options for what you want to do.
Absolutely, Nate.
All right.
CL, female, brown hair, shows her midriff. I don't know why I have that note there, but she does. Maybe she's the first character I saw in this game that shows a midriff. I made the note. Scar across her nose. She wants to toast to Sophie, my fierce and loving friend. And there's no way in hell she's going to cross the sea sober, pushing drinks. Lots and lots of wine to be had. Anything, Nate?
No, I think if I remember this character inadvertently, you know, again, I'm trying to avoid as much as I can. I've seen this character in a lot of promotional materials, so I think we will be playing as her, right?
Oh, I'm completely oblivious to the playable cast.
That's the impression I have.
Sweet.
Okay, yeah.
All right, great.
That's what I'm picturing right now from what I'm seeing, but we'll see. I don't know.
Well, let me ask you, Nate, since you pointed that out, what's your gut check on what kind of combatant she is?
She is gonna be the rogue. Or no, maybe that's Mael. I don't know. We'll have to see. Knowing what I know of the existing characters, she might be... I'm going to give her rogue. We'll try that. We'll see how it goes.
The scar across her nose gives me a barbarian sense.
Oh, yeah. Sure.
And I wonder, I wouldn't qualify her as a heavy, but some sort of like arms warrior.
Sure. I'm feeling it.
I don't know. Maybe I'm reading too much into it. Anybody could have said, I'm looking at the scar across her nose and she's going to be a hunter that throws a spear. I have no idea.
Yeah. There was a character before who was making a Picto, and you could pay him for it, and it was this like hobbled together piece of shit. I don't know how to, like, fragments of light kind of swirling about each other. And if you buy it from him, you're like, oh, I got a Picto. Cool, I'm going to equip it. You have no Picto. What you have in your inventory is a broken piece of shit you can't use.
Yes.
Exactly, great. Now, Lune, on the other hand, has this diamond kind of fractal image shifting shape before her.
Sure. Hypercube.
Right. This seems to be more the standard, what we would expect, like order and form to this. The chaos is not the intended shape of a Picto, to surmise from these two scenarios together. We're talking about expeditions, and she's saying the strategy is they're going to where the first expedition landed, Expedition 0. And says the only expedition with any survivors, and that they made it to the monolith. Now, that was 67 years ago, so am I to surmise this person is dead, right? Mm-hmm. And they shared their wisdom, maybe journaled it or brought back information, and kind of set the explanation for all of this? Or is this a person we could actually go see in some capacity? If that were within the confines of the game, we don't know. We don't meet this person. But anyway, so that's very interesting. We've now got seemingly, there's an expectation of expeditions are failures, right?
Yes.
If there was one that someone came back from. So I don't know that I did, whether I knew that or not beforehand. I didn't know that I knew what the expeditions were. But now there's an inherent upping of the stakes and the dangers.
We've got questions. There's a survivor. There's a lot of expedition going on, but not for that.
Right.
I mean, I guess we learned about it. That's expedition in and of itself, but like, I want to learn more, and we're left hanging. And so it's another example of drip feeding intrigue.
All right, I'm going to interject here. We're about to hear what the game of the year is, but they're introducing the category with like this grand orchestra playing through. I have to learn who this person on the edge is. It's a older gentleman with an afro who is like going ham on what looks to be just PVC pipe from Menards, like a flute made out of PVC.
Okay, I'm going to pull it up then.
But this is one of the most epic fucking things I've ever seen right now is the...
Jesus.
There's a woman singing. I don't know if she's singing the Donkey Kong Bonanza theme song right now. I'm going to have to rewatch this later because there's a woman singing her absolute fucking heart out with Donkey Kong smashing mountains in the background and beating his chest and turning into a donkey.
Oh, I see that wind instrument. That is very strange.
Right. Well, he's changed it since. Earlier, if you dial back to the earlier, yeah, you'll see the one I'm talking about. All right, here we go, Tyler.
Game of the year.
Oh, holy shit, he's got a giant one now. This dude is crazy. I need to find out who this is. Oh, here we go.
Here we go.
Game of the year, Tyler. Live. Well, not live because it's going to be a few days before this is even. Oh, that dude is crazy. Oh, Lenny Kravitz was here earlier, too. He introduced the best music. Oh, yep. There it is.
There it is.
The game we are currently talking about.
Oh my God, they are dressed in all that gear.
Yes. Don't they just all look like happy, healthy people, though?
Yeah, their microplastic count is like just so low.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, that's Jennifer English there with like the long sleeves. Again, not trying to be weird, but my God, is she gorgeous or what?
Yeah, I see her. Well, grats.
All right, they're celebrating. Let's get back into the action. Speaking of gorgeous, let's talk about Lune. You wanna?
Yeah, Lune.
Okay, so I'm just gonna say it right here. Lune is already amazing for me. We've got a tattooed arm. But it's not just tattoos. It's not like, tribal and a picture of a dragon and flowers. This is like gold filigree, reminiscent of like the title design, the kind of the art direction that flows throughout a lot of different things in this game, and the uniform design as well. So I almost wonder if this is utility and not just, aesthetic. Like there's some sort of magic channeling properties to these tattoos. So that's pretty sick. Trench coat, black hair, played guitar, as we previously stated, and she is on her game strategy-wise. She's, as we talked about before, the landing site, etc. We're going to find out this character is on top of her shit. And the only thing I will say is I need to get this girl some shoes so that when I am showering her with verbal affection over the course of this podcast season, nobody is going to accuse me of doing so for the wrong reasons. I am wholeheartedly swearing that I would just feel better if she had some shoes on. Okay?
Okay, Nate. All right. Colette's one of the vendors that accepts a token. She will give us a relic if we do. It's an old key. No idea what it's for, but we take it. They're telling us it's important. It probably is. Just one game of the year. This old key is probably important. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Another vendor, Amandine Fashionista, will give Gustav a new hairstyle for a festival token. You will get a new haircut transmog, which is selectable and adjustable in the appearance menu in your game menu. But I don't have it. Tom,
right.
He's got the Picto, the broken Picto that Nate described earlier. We'll trade it for a token.
Did you buy it?
Yes, I bought it.
Nice. I have a feeling we're going to be able to fix. There's going to be some sort of like ethereal being who is like, I sense power in your, inventory.
Give me your shitty Picto.
And he's like, actually, this is the Picto of Meteor, or whatever, something like that.
Oh, now I can build the ultimate.
The one you least expected.
Yes, probably.
He was a genius the whole time.
Yeah, well, I trust Lune over him. I go straight to Emma here and then end up going and then go to the speech scene that ends our opportunity to continue interacting with guests in this fast. But upon reviewing someone else's prologue, I missed the expedition leader, and because I remember him in a scene that follows this. His name is Alan. He has a daughter named Leona. Nate and I are fond of Leona.
Uh-huh.
Shout out to League of Legends for a pretty bitchin' Night of the Sunshine.
Don't stare directly at me for too long.
Alan says she doesn't have to understand so long as she gets to live. Luminatech is our edge. For all of the exposition we're taking in, we're not talking about how Gustav developed Lumina technology. And I have questions about that.
That robot arm.
Yeah, and his robot arm. He's been heralded by multiple people that's our advantage, like he's an inventor or something. Do we have Lumina technology to thank for his elevated stature in the community or something? I really couldn't say.
We're talking about Pictos and Lumina, etc. Is that process we previously described and how that works? Did people use Pictos before but didn't have the ability to permanently harness capabilities from them? Or is even the ability to interact with Pictos at all the Lumina tech we're talking about? I need some further explanation of to what degree this is utilized, Right.
There's another guy here named Jerome who thinks there could be survivors, which gives Gustav an opportunity to drop some lore on us. He says, we're lucky the fracture dropped us out here, gave us time to get our defenses up. So what I take that to mean is when the fracture happened, Paris burst out of the earth and went flying into the ocean, landed somehow right side up, settled there, and life was able to continue. And that when we talk about the continent, the Paintress's continent, maybe it's the rest of the world we're talking about, not necessarily this bastion, this holdfast outside of the cursed continent.
Right. And you answered a question then, like he said, time to get our defenses up. So that kind of answers a question I had from earlier. It wasn't instantaneous that they were kind of in danger. And so that mystery to them is whether other places in the world had that same amount of time to get defenses up. But yeah.
It follows that there's just no plumbing, or the electricity grid was all disrupted 67 years ago, and they really had to rebuild.
We always think of like, oh, I wonder what it'd be like to live in this era. And I'd be like, no, you don't want to.
Yeah.
I would take being born in 1945. That would seem sick, but any further back, I'm not sure if I'm willing to partake.
So we meet Emma, Gustav's sister, co-guardian to Mael, fancy lilac-colored hat, white blouse, lilac-colored skirt, wreath of white flowers over her neck. She browbeats Gustav for going on the mission, calls it a bloodless guillotine whose purpose is to improve morale in the city. It thinks it's foolish to go and that his energies are better spent here in the city, where he can make a real impact. But Gustav says that's her purpose. So it appears to us that she is a city councilwoman, some sort of people organizer, a leader, a community leader. That's very clear, quite honestly. And that is her purpose. You're projecting your purpose onto me. My purpose is to use Lumina technology on the continent to take the fight to the Paintress directly.
Right. And that's like doubly true. If he's the genius that invented this stuff, they have no arena on which to test their work other than obviously just testing, but in the field, that's a different story. So on the off chance that perhaps he did survive, then he would be the most capable person to gather that intel and make use of it.
Gustav, don't you think you could use Lumina technology to rebuild our sewer system?
I don't know. Is there a 50% reduced shit output Picto?
Let's look for it, Nate.
Yeah.
If you find it, you let me know, okay?
Sure.
All right. So after speaking with her, we have an opportunity to, there's a point of no return prompt.
Another one.
This prologue is 2 point of no return prompts. It's great. Well, it's not crazy, but it allows you to give the game permission to advance the story if you're not ready for it yet. Maybe you haven't got the last token, maybe you haven't purchased the third prize.
Right.
And I've got Emma's speech here directly. While she's speaking, the camera is cutting to characters listening, energy is building, triumphant music is picking up. It sort of layers together two scenes where partway through the speech we're listening at the festival, and then in the other half we transition to boarding the ship, the expedition ship, let's call it, and setting out with tearful goodbyes from characters as they go. So I'm setting that scene, and now I'm going to read the speech verbatim. Expeditioners, the Sword of Lumiere, we honor your dedication. We do not take for granted that you dedicate your final year of life to keeping hope alive for all Lumiere. Some of you are leaving to change the world, others to discover the secrets of our universe, some to protect loved ones, others to find meaning in our all too short lives. As you sail into the unknown, know that Lumiere stands with you. When you battle the Paintress, know that Lumiere fights with you. Let the stones of her monolith crumble. Let her body lie at the end of the world, unable to paint another death. Let the stars no longer be hidden by her oppressive silhouette. Let the world once again watch the sun rise without the shadow of her cursed figure. May the wind of renewal take you to the ends of the earth. Tomorrow comes, thanks to you. Expedition 33. Boom! Title logo.
Now, as we see the images of these ships casting off, everybody in their uniform, all kind of making way, I'm feeling more Final Fantasy VIII love here.
Mm-hmm.
The context is completely different, but you kind of change from your personal attire to your military attire uniform when going off on your first seed mission on the boats across the sea to Dalit, if I'm remembering the city correct.
That's right.
Right. And so obviously completely different story, but like it just made me think, maybe unintentionally, just a strong homage to kind of that imagery as well. It was the first game to kind of give that, they were trying to capture like a more youthful military academy vibe within the Final Fantasy series than like the ragtag resistance heroes. And this will shift in the scope of what we're about to play, but right now I'm feeling like very, what's the word? It's not nationalistic, but like jingoistic.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we just had this speech, we're sailing off, we're about to encounter glory, right? That's that same similar feeling I'm having.
Sure. It would be nice to do a comparison of the Seed outfit to the Expedition 33 outfit.
Yeah.
And see if like the trimming is comparable or something.
Right. And there's actually two uniforms. There's the Seed outfit, and then there's like the graduation uniform as well.
Oh, really?
Or no, there is maybe the one you go on in the mission is like the student uniform, and then the Seed outfit is the one you attend the graduation with. Like Seed members are in the black, gold military trim,
Mm-hmm.
and then the blue with silver trim might be student uniform. I'd have to look that up, but either way, you know, it's giving that same feeling. Shall we move ahead?
Let's get into the ship. Okay, so the expedition ship is on a black sand shore. Everything is foggy, dark, and creepy. We're getting onto the sand. A man with a cane comes to us through the mist. He is well over age 33, and his cane clinks loudly and ominously several times before he comes to a stop, and everyone gets a good look at him. The expedition leader, Alan, approaches him, says, You're old. How did you survive the Gamage? The man does not answer. And then he says, Which expedition are you from? And he doesn't finish the word from because the man decapitates him in a flash with, I guess, his cane or a cane sword. It's a flash of yellow light and then like the cinematography like slows time and the head falls back to the ground, and the expedition leader is Dunzo, gone.
Mm-hmm.
Nate, what was your vibe? What happened to you when you saw this?
I was absolutely stunned by this moment because initially, I'll just say this, he has the appearance. We don't get the best look at him in the world. We don't get to linger on every detail of him for as long as we desire, but I am seeing some sort of version of the same kind of military attire. If I'm to make a prediction of some kind, he looks like an expeditioner, and the person himself says, You're old, you survived the Gamage. He identifies him as one of them, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's no like, where are you from? Are you from another land? They kind of right off the bat go into implying he's a person of Lumiere of some kind. So with that, and then with the immediate killing, it establishes this question of like, what we knew about the story at this point. This is the Sephiroth kills the president moment, but much earlier, right? What you knew about the story, what the setup was, and everything you were told is now tossed onto its head. You no longer, the expectations you had are gone at this point. So that is shocking and intriguing at the exact same moment all at once.
Yeah, well put. We're completely unmoored. We don't know what's going on as players. No character knows what's going on, and then all hell breaks loose. Magical mortars are exploding all over the place. It seems like everyone's just dying. There's explosions everywhere, and it's disorienting. Gustav gets thrown to the ground. He gets picked up by an expeditioner, and they all run behind this rock where another two expeditioners are hiding as the expedition is getting exploded all around them. And they reinforce to one another that the first rally point is the Indigo tree, and then the mood changes. The mortars stop exploding, and now we hear a lot of quiet, and then we hear clicking, growling, otherworldly monster sounds. They're shadows in the mist, but when they come out, it turns out that these are grotesque, monstrous, disembodied hands.
Mm-hmm.
And they chase Gustav and the gang out into the open. People are getting snatched or dragged or killed. We don't really know what anybody's fate is whatsoever. And then one of these monsters corners Gustav, who starts like summoning this ball of energy, and then in a flash, the two of them are gone.
Overall, that character, we'll probably learn about him. At first, before he started slicing off heads, I was giving him Auron from Final Fantasy X.
Oh, sure.
Because one, he's older. He might be our mentor. He might be somebody, that is going to tell us some shit. But also, he's too damn cool to put his arms in the sleeves of his jacket. So that was one. But then that quickly changed to Negan from, am I saying that? Is it Negan? Negan? I forget.
I have not seen one episode of Walking Dead. I could not tell you.
Yeah, it's been a good 8 years and I've heard it pronounced different ways. So I'm going to go with Negan. But definitely that energy of just walking, like coming into the show and immediately throwing everything on its head and establishing chaos as like, you will not be able to sit comfortably and watch this show moving forward. As much as you put the effort into it, no.
Bummer.
Yeah, lots of merde going on, which is shit. Also, do we need to look up putain?
I wondered what that is too. I don't know. I couldn't tell if that was a name I should know or not.
Okay, let's look at a meaning. Whore.
Horror?
Or so there is times where I've heard putain and merde at the same time. So, I mean, should we invent a new swear here, which is whore of shit or shit whore?
Whore of shit. That's the name of the picto.
Prostitute and excrement are the two meanings of putain and merde, according to the internet.
Yeah, I didn't know if it was a name or if it was some like thing coming out of him from some repressed God knows what. Like, I don't know. Like let's say Cloud is like heaving and saying reunion. I thought maybe it was something like that.
Yeah.
But if he's hollering whore, that's fine with me.
Whore, where must find the whores.
Reunion, whore.
No.
Okay. Then this concludes the prologue. I know we all kind of emotionally thought that the prologue concluded 2 dramatic story beats ago, but it's now.
Right.
And it says Act 1, Gustav. So we're in a zone called Spring Meadows. We don't know it's called that yet, but I'm telling you it is. Gustav awakes in a rather peaceful looking forest, and off we go. He really just kind of rouses awake, and we navigate the zone. And it's lush and beautiful and very placid. Stark contrast from where we were before.
They have us heal ourselves from the chaos of before.
Yes, that's right.
Teach you how to use your healing item.
And it's populated by enemies you can get into fights with, predominantly golems. The first one is a spear-holding golem with a power core in its head, and that's our introduction to ranged attacks. There's different battle music too, which is great, whimsical, dangerous. We learned that ranged attacks are best for flying enemies because ranged attacks have better accuracy, or flying enemies have better evasion against melee attacks. I haven't looked up the stats. And it's also good on busting weak points.
Right.
Like a power core or some weak spot that's ready to pop.
Yeah. So now, like, we're done tutorializing the game. I mean, obviously they taught you a couple things in this fight, but this is going to be an introduction to the kinds of mobs we're going to be encountering in this Spring Meadow area, Tyler. So with no longer it being required of you to dodge, to tell the game, yes, I have learned this mechanic, now that you're just immersed in it and it's a tool in your toolbox, are you dodging, Tyler?
Yes.
You're figuring it out.
And I'm positively reinforced by that by the picto I'm going to pick up soon that gives AP for dodges.
Nice. That's perfect. Now, I was playing a different game recently where the R1 button is the dodge. So I pressed that during my dodge instead, and that is the parry button, as we previously learned. But I don't know that I ever had the confidence to try and just parry. I always thought like, okay, dodge is the safe option. But I hit that R1 button and immediately parried the staff being flung at me. And the response was a counterattack that one-shot the fucker. Like,
nice.
When one hit, and just that same freeze frame of like the screen goes dark and it's just it's a pretty satisfying moment.
That's awesome, dude. I'm also kind of afraid to parry because I feel like I'm a better dodger. And so if I parry, it's because I'm anticipating an attack that is one strike long.
Right.
That's my soft rule for myself.
It's a good strategy.
They also teach us about the HUD menu that shows us main story quest objective and the amount of elixirs we can use in the field. As we continue to navigate, there's no mini map. You have to remember the layout. Maybe we'll pick up a map item later, but it's not here. And so if you're easily confused or you tend to be like looking at maps constantly like I do, you're going to have to release yourself from that habit. We also learned about preemptive attacks where you can guarantee a first strike by clicking on one of your buttons and hitting them before they make contact with you.
And as we're exploring, we notice that this place has a lot of floating rocks, broken apart stone, etc., just floating in the air, not moving, frozen in time, similar to Lumiere. So that same question I have of what is happening to space-time that we asked before is still here. But I'm also noticing there's formations, like there is a rock that is shaped like a human being that is kind of, if you imagined the form that, let's say you saw a nuclear bomb explode on the horizon and you have about 8 seconds before that explosion hits you, you kind of look at it and hold your arms up and like think that might help, but it doesn't. Like maybe the image from Terminator 2 where the nuke goes off and they're at the fence. Similar image here, but it's like it's not human enough for you to say, oh yeah, that's a person. There's no nose or mouth or like hands per se, but the broad silhouette of it is that human shielding themselves, and almost to the point again where the shape of these rocks and stones formed it's almost like a painter dripping drops of paint if the stones were paint. We talked about this in the prior chapter of the destruction of the lighthouse looking like a brush stroke passed through it or something. So similar effect happening here. And there's also a park bench.
Oh yes, a park bench.
Did you try and sit on it to regain your HP and MP?
No, I didn't. I stopped to look at it though. The way leads us into this cave where a trail of blood slowly forms as you move forward, and we are witness to a horrific monument of dead expeditioners at the bottom of this burbling wall of flesh. And Gustav's having a dark hour of midnight moment. He doesn't see a way through. Mm-hmm. He looks completely out of gas and depressed and defeated. He looks defeated already. And he manifests a handgun into his hand and he points it to his head.
Right.
But then there's a voice. You do that, we both die.
You do that, we both die.
It's Lune. Fucking hell, she says.
You mentioned he's out of gas. I'm almost wondering if he has like a specific heart condition, because there's twice now in both the attack on the shore and here when he has like this kind of panic attack as he's seeing all the death around him. He has to like beat his chest in the position of his heart to kind of end this panic attack he has happening. And there's also a person who like on the shore got killed shortly after who notices that Gustav is like frozen up, like can't move, almost like he's in shock in a way. So I'm wondering if this is something we're going to build on more so than just in an intentional way, not just like, oh shit, this is really creepy. He's suffering a medical condition in this moment.
Oh yeah, we'll find out soon enough.
Yeah.
Hope he's okay. Yeah, my boy's doing a lot of pounding on his chest. Lune hustles him up, reminds him, when one falls, we continue.
When one falls, we continue.
And then another golem is alerted to our presence. He's different this time. He's got like shield fists that protect his center or the rest of his body. And being in combat with it is our introduction to getting to know Lune in her battle kit. She's a playable character, Nate.
Hell yeah. So yeah, that kit, I read it and I read the words Ice Lance. I'm like, oh shit. Hell yeah. Ice Lance. What does Ice Lance make you think of, Tyler?
Frost mages, and also in Heroes of the Storm, my girl Jaina.
Okay.
Proudmoore has a spell. Her Q ability is Ice Lance.
Right, and that is from the mage class.
Oh yeah.
Given to frost mages in the Burning Crusade. I did not play a mage prior to that. My best friend played a mage. Don't want to get into a long story here, but there's a lot of funny stuff about him and I playing together. But upon seeing that he just had a move where he just on the run chuck a giant shard of ice at somebody's face. I didn't have that as a warlock. I did not have an on the run blast someone move. And I was like, damn, that's so cool.
Like an instant cast?
Yeah, right.
When you say on the run, you mean you can move and use it?
Yeah, we had deep in the destruction tree, there was Conflagrate, but that was on a long cooldown, etc. Ice Lance, you could just rock that as much as you wanted. So it was super cool. So I was like, oh shit, Ice Lance, that's cool. It's making me think mage, wow, etc. And then I look at her next move, Immolate. All right, now we're talking my language, because that is a World of Warcraft Warlock spell. I main Warlock. My Warlock is I'll just say a dark, calculating strategist woman who I just feel like my love for that character is being channeled directly into me through Lune in this moment. Previous to playing World of Warcraft, I always played a monk in RPGs, and I always played a man that kind of, I was channeling myself. Now, I'm not beefy. I'm not punching people in the face or whatever. It's just, I feel like my inner spirit hero that I would channel into RPGs was the monk, right? Mm-hmm. And when Warcraft came out, there was no monk to speak of. There was paladin, and I tried that, but they attacked so slow that you sometimes would think that your game had disconnected because there was nothing to do. So I switched it up. I said, if I was a monk male, what is the opposite of that? And I played female warlock, and nothing has ever been the same since.
Nice.
So we're right back here. I am in love with this character.
As you build Lune, are you focusing on her fire abilities?
Right. I absolutely love playing characters that burn the shit out of everything.
Interesting.
And not just the sorceress, dark woman characters like Kyo Kusanagi in King of Fighters, who is a fire wielder. It just feels so badass to me. I love fire people.
Nice, Nate. More particular about her kit, her spells leave an elemental mark on her targets, which they call a stain, which produces a particular effect when the stain is removed by casting a subsequent spell of hers onto the target with the stain. Battle also teaches us that enemies have elemental weaknesses, meaning they take double damage, resistance, meaning they take half damage, nullify, meaning they take no damage, and absorb, meaning they are healed rather than take damage. And we also learned about expedition counters, where you have to press R1 at the right time, or else all teammates take damage. This is when enemies are using an AoE ability, let's say. The enemy is called the Portier, Portier, and when we defeat it, Gustav uses a tool, I suppose this is a Lumina converter, to suck energy from the Portier, which ends up being a Picto named Dodger, which is the aforementioned Picto that awards ability points for successful dodges. After the fight, we control Lune, and we learn that we can swap characters as we please, the controllable character, and she floats as she runs. It's so wonderful. She doesn't run. She floats as she advances forward through the game field. It feels so lovely.
Yeah, and now we know why she doesn't need shoes, so she can just float.
Yeah, I think I would still have shoes, just in case I wanted to touch grass again.
Yeah, go touch grass, woman.
Well, if it was grass, I guess I didn't feel like I needed shoes, but I don't know. She's confident in her barefoot game.
Yeah, you're right. It's very graceful and kind of gives her this, in a weird way, kind of like an angelic energy to her. Like she's, not that she's above it all, but maybe 3 inches above it all. Mm-hmm. Giving up was not an option for her in the scope of the battle plan of seeing all of her compatriots killed. Something that I should maybe question you on. When I first saw this scene of everyone dead in that corridor, I thought that this was all the previous expeditions forever, basically, all of their corpses, because they didn't put numbers on the bands. And it's like, okay, they didn't want to design. So we got 67. They didn't want to design 67 different expedition logos to slap on their arms. So they just didn't have them at all. Whereas if these were all Expedition 33 people, they would have just put it on there. So I was getting the impression this is every expedition has immediately failed except for Expedition 0. They've all been completely obliterated from moment number 1. We will later learn that that's not the case through exploring the world. But I want to know, was that the impression you got initially here, or was I off base with that?
That wasn't my impression, because I got a sense that there's a trail and the expeditioners follow the trail because you honor future expeditions by leaving good trails behind you and facilitating future expeditions. And so I did have an impression that they did advance past the beach to an unknown amount.
Okay.
Personally.
Gotcha.
Right. So the zone opens up to this lush valley that we cross. We have a lot of opportunity to explore, not much story advances as we make our way towards the indigo tree. There's another mime out here that is sort of hidden on the far side of a few grappling hook jumps. Did you find this mime, Nate?
I missed him. I did not find him. No. I gotta go back and get him.
He's just as hard as the one in the prologue. He smashes you with the invisible hammer and like feels like it one-shots you. And it's really a matter of breaking that, I forget what the terminology is, but breaking that applying the break effect to break that invisible wall.
Right.
Anyways. And then I'll just tell you, when you defeat that mime, you get a party-wide transmog of the silly outfits that Sandfall were in the awards show.
Game Awards. Yeah. Great.
And the set is called Baguette.
So they're self-aware. They're like, we are very French.
Yes.
And that's okay.
Yes. I did not equip it because it takes me out of the narrative. If it's funny and memey to you or to listeners, that's perfectly fine.
Of course.
But I still like the dark, gritty narrative, and I don't want to get pulled out of it. Footnote. See prior conversation about declining to use the hair transmog.
Yeah. I felt the exact same way. I was like, I don't know if this is going to look right for him to have prim and proper hair in the middle of a battlefield. I'm enjoying his unkempt, natural look.
There's pictos on the ground. There's a currency called Lumina to pick up as well. Different kinds of golems to fight, including fighting ones. We talked about that ranged attacks work well on them. There's a golem elite out here, the Chromatic Lancier. This one looks dangerous, says Lune, and I'll be damned if I didn't fight that guy like 20 times until I beat him. And when I did beat him, I think I only got hit once.
Nice.
Like, I really drilled myself on getting this one, and I'm glad I did. Did you beat this guy?
Yes, I did.
Of course you did. You're an excellent dodger, and I'm the scrub that's getting up to speed.
I probably died 4, 5, 6 times. Maybe not. Yeah, I'd say probably 5 times I had to try to get him. It really comes down to, it's almost like if you stick through this, it gives me a better understanding of my windows, because not all games treat dodging the same way. Without getting into a massive tangent, it frustrates me to no end the dodge window of the recent Zelda games, Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. They're just completely off on the logic of what constitutes a dodge, because if the enemy starts their swing and you're like, well, now is the time to dodge, and you dodge then, the enemy will just like track you and move without their feet moving, just inch the model forward and still hit you. The moment to dodge is like the blade is cutting the arm hairs off the character's skin. That is when you're supposed to hit the dodge button on Zelda. And I'm like, no, fuck that. That is not how it works. I don't stop time and leap backwards whatever. Anyway, so each game has different rules for this, and you got to kind of learn it. This really helped me hone in on, I was doing dodges better with everything after doing this fight, because it was making me care. If I wanted to beat this, you have to get it. And so really, I've learned this game has a system of, it does the wind up, there's a stall where the wind up is finished and the enemy's hand will rest in that position for a moment, and then the instant you see it start to move again, you should be pressing the button of your choice. So that's kind of how I had to think about it and process it. And once I did that, the fight got more manageable. Before that, he was bashing the ever-living shit out of my characters. Now, you also have a question about builds, and this fight made me think about that as well. Lune is my burn character, and I'm also, when it comes to giving her stats, I am giving her high defense on the off chance that she is not there to be like blowing things up or whatever. She should be alive at any point in the match, whittling people down and debuffing them. While Clive, he has high damage and high...
Who, Nate?
Clive. Gustav, right? Man, I have to say the energy of this game is very Final Fantasy 16. This game is deeper in story and hitting me harder emotionally, but I'm in a same aura. 16, very good. I enjoy it, but its energy fizzles in ways that I do not, from everything I'm seeing and hearing, I do not expect of this game. But they have very similar auras to be immersed in both their worlds. So anyway, not Clive, Gustav. But yes, he is built as my get in there, do large amounts of singular damage with your physical abilities. So I'm kind of intentionally, I don't know if that is the best build. I don't care if what the guides say of just make Lune a glass cannon. That's not my strategy. I want her to be always present, always whittling away and debuffing enemies.
That is so interesting, Nate, because I have different builds for both of my characters. I have Gustav as a marker because one of the abilities that he'll eventually be able to unlock in rather short order here is a mark, which augments damage onto, I should say, augments the next instance of damage a target receives. And when I upgrade his stats, I go for speed because I want him augmenting fast.
Right. That's a good call.
And for Lune, I have her all on magic damage, or just damage, because it's all just damage.
Right.
And I've got the augmented attack on her. I've got the AP dodge Picto on her, or Lumina on her, and she's outputting those frost bolts.
Right.
And doing explosive single target damage. So in contrast, I've got a Gustav as a debuffer speedy boy and I am the glass cannon with Lune. I figure if I'm gonna live or die at any given turn, if I don't dodge properly, well then I'll just fucking kit her out and just finish the whole goddamn battle in two turns.
Yeah. Is it annoying that I think of everything in terms of Final Fantasy? Because when you're explaining this to me, I'm thinking your Gustav is more of a Tidus and my Gustav is more of a Cloud in that regard.
No, Nate. You also make comparisons to WoW too.
Yeah, that's true. Right.
And no, that doesn't bother me.
I promise I have more culture within me than these two referential sources.
Oh.
But yes, it's interesting. You went frost, I went fire.
Mm-hmm.
And that, honestly, most everything here is weak to ice. So at least for this location, your strategy is probably the superior one. There's something to be said of, I enjoy in any game, the game has its inherent difficulty. I enjoy committing to a fantasy and letting the resultant difficulty just play out as is. Like if I'm weaker, if I'm not like busting a game open, exploiting it or whatever in certain terms, I don't really care. What matters is, am I having fun? Am I feeling the satisfaction? And I think this game does a good job of all of those decisions you're making on your characters all feel satisfying.
Mm-hmm. Moving along here, we learned that Expedition 69, LOL, we thank them for the cliff handholds. Nate, we have the climbing expedition of Expedition 69 for yellow painted rocks that you can climb.
Right.
They're not yellow, they're white. Or maybe they are yellow and it's an artifact.
Well, they're gold, they're like gold trim.
Okay. Yeah, they're gold trimmed, right. After I say, when I talk about colors in this game, I'm starting to ask myself, is it really that color or is it an improper rendering according to the Steam Deck experience?
That's true. You do have to filter through that.
So you'll have to correct me from time to time, although it hasn't happened yet.
The earlier FMV with the old man it's a pre-rendered video, so you wouldn't have had any like issue there. But if it was in engine, you would have had to have questioned yourself, does this man actually have gray hair or is it the fucking Steam Deck?
Right. Yeah, you should have gaslit me and said he's got these wonderful strawberry blonde locks. I'd be like, oh, what, really? Continuing into the zone, we get into this enclosed area where we find a Nevron on the ground. Nevrons are monsters, by the way. Nobody says it yet, but we're getting a sense that that's just what it is. A sentry, a life form created by the paintress, I suppose.
I think they said so on the beach when they encountered the big hand monster, right?
What was that?
On the shore where they arrival when the big hand monster showed up and there was like all those clicking animal whale noises in the background, whatever you want to call them.
Yeah.
I think people were like, Nevrons,
Sure.
called out. So we can kind of imply that any hostile, malformed thing is a category on which Nevrons all exist under.
Of course. Got it. But this Nevron is not hostile. His name is Jar, and he's like a paladin Nevron. He would not kill anybody. He says he wouldn't kill anybody. getting a little ahead of myself here. He says he wouldn't kill anybody once we talk to him because he doesn't like throwing people into darkness. He serves the light, but the torch at the end of his large staff has gone out. And the quest is, would we help him find something flammable to relight his torch? But before that conversation happens, one of our characters notices a journal on the ground. There's a library of journals, expedition journals from prior expeditions that we're going to pick up and then record for, I guess, a chance to listen to again in our menu screen. This is Expedition 81, and in that journal it says that this is the first Neveron we've seen who can communicate. And then the person speaking in the journal, because these are like data tapes that we're listening to, they name drop a guy named Gregoire, Gregoire. Might have mispronounced that. Could be nothing, could be everything, but they do name a person named Gregoire. Who knows? And then the woman sounds like she was cut off before she could finish her message, which raised the question, did he kill them? And he says he didn't, and then it puts us on the quest. Nate, did you complete the quest?
Yes, I found some light for him a fire for him to eat.
Yeah, like burnable tar or something out in the wilderness around here. Oh yeah, he gives us he increases our elixir maximum. That's what he does.
Right. Now, we have something to say here about chroma.
Oh, yes.
They talk about chroma here. They say the dead on this island do not disappear when they die. There are more stone statues. The chroma stays in their bodies, is what they say. Now, we see the same thing on that like blood trail, where it's a bunch of stone statues, but like there's lines of blood pulled from their bodies and made into kind of a web or a tree within that cave. So apparently you can pull blood out of a body without pulling a different material out of them, if I'm to understand this correctly. And that I'm guessing chroma can only surmise at this point life force or their energy that causes, when we saw the guy get his neck chopped on the beach, he immediately evaporated, similar to a gamage, maybe not into flowers, but into energy. And so when people die, they just disappear in this world, except here they turn to stone.
Lune thinks there's something in the way Neveron's killed that seems to affect our chroma. That'll be a mystery we will uncover later.
Right.
So we do get to the tree, and we are met by another boss. This is called the Eveque, Eveque. It looks like a bishop or a priest or a ghost. It's got the head of like a queen's chess piece, and it has a robe. It's kind of eerie looking. He summons little golems that you want to tidy up. He has a charge up ability. He can go in rage once you get to the fourth and final phase. I didn't find him very hard, quite honestly. I finished him on my first try. We just burst him down, kept the ads from impacting anything.
You could kill the ads pretty quickly. You shoot them in their glowy spot and then an attack. They're gone.
Yeah, that's right. And when you defeat the boss, you get a picto called Cleansing Tint. It gives you extra health and defense, and it also removes status effects from the target when you use healing? Something like that? No. The Luminous effect. Healing tints also remove all status effects from the target. We get a picto called Cleansing Tint. Plenty of EXP in Chroma and Chroma Catalysts for the trouble.
Now, I felt like we've had this degree of normal challenge, maybe a little bit easy to take on standard mobs in the world. As you shoot their weak spot, you hit them with a spell, they're out. And then the extremely hard mobs, I feel like this boss felt like a good balance where you were rewarded for engaging your capabilities and tactics. And at certain points, because I've gotten to the point where I'm parrying everything, it might be a little too easy, but at the same time, I'm using a more advanced technique to make it easier. So I felt like it was just the friction, the feedback of the fight was all very satisfying to make it feel rewarding to engage this game.
Yeah. Oh my God, Nate.
What?
I was clicking around in my other window here, and I just noticed that according to conversation on the subreddit r/Steam Deck, that Clair Obscur has just been patched to be Steam Deck certified.
Hell yeah. There you go, buddy.
And they probably did it as they were accepting their their 11th and 12th reward tonight.
They're like, oh shit, a lot of people are going to be downloading this game tonight. This is crazy. So,
wow. I would love to see about that. Now we'll report on that next episode. How cool.
Sweet.
We're going to take a break right here. I have to believe, I don't remember precisely, I have to believe there's going to be another conversation or two as we leave the Blue Meadows. It wasn't called Blue Meadows, was it?
Spring Meadow.
The Spring Meadows, the Indigo Meadows.
Sounds like a water bottle from Eau Claire, Wisconsin, if I'm being honest.
Oh, yes, it does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But we're going to park it here. We'll have those final establishing conversations before we move on to the next area. Save that for next episode, Nate.
Yeah, we're good.
Thank you for listening, everybody. This episode has been a production of Gunblade Guys. That's us, Tyler and Nate. Think about liking us, subscribing to us, 5-starring us, writing a review about us, and telling a fellow gamelark about us as well. Join the conversation with fellow fans on Discord. Find a link to that Discord on our podcast description paragraph, where you can also find a link to tip us as well if you like. Catch us on Twitch and YouTube under the name Gunblade Guys, and email us at gunbladeguys@gmail.com. Nate, did you publish something on YouTube the other day?
Right. It's a 2-hour, 40-minute video, Resident Evil 2 all in one. I don't know if that's the most appropriate title for it, but effectively what it is it's a childhood dream of mine. Back in the day, I would play through Resident Evil 2 dozens of times, and I would sit in school drawing maps of the police station in my notebook, then using, I don't know if it's marker or crayon, but red and blue, mapping out who was where doing what when. Because if you play both campaigns, you're inevitably doing the same puzzles like over and over twice. And in my head, I'm like, no, that is wrong. Why would both of them be retrieving the gem from the tyrant statue thing? That's incorrect. One of them should do that. Another one should do this one. And so I did this type of shit all the time as a kid. I had stories for my Street Fighter fights. I had an overarching narrative for Lara Croft other than her singular adventures, etc. So via the magic of Adobe Premiere, I've made one of these things I did 25 years ago a reality by editing a video together that is the entirety of my ability to put together a singular narrative for Resident Evil 2, where each thing that is done in the game is only done once by one person, and then the other person is doing the other things that are more appropriate to their campaign. I love it. It's for me. If no one ever watches it, I will still have had a complete blast and joy creating it. So yeah, check it out if you want to.
Definitely check it out. I will check it out myself. Nate, you're an absolute mad lad, by the way.
Yeah, I will say it kind of, there's always this narrative of, video games wouldn't be good movies. And I think with the right editing, you can make a video game into a pretty good movie. Now, this one's long, but it's because I left a lot of the minutia in just to be immersed in the space. But I think I could have made an hour 45-minute version of this video that is basically movie narrative quality. Well, 90s video game movie narrative quality in terms of pacing and entertainment value. But anyway, I love this kind of shit. I do it for fun. There's older ones. I did Folklore and Parasite Eve as well, kind of editing adventures of both those games.
Check it out on YouTube.
Yeah, I will check you out personally.
Yeah, baby.
How you doing? What's up, Tyler?
What's going on with me? Found out I'm going to Hawaii in March to lead a tour group. I thought they were going to cancel it, but then funny things happened in the last few days that made it reasonable to operate. And so I'm expecting that's going to happen. Playing a lot of music lately. It's been a lot of fun.
That's good. Yeah, I've been checking out your stuff online that you've been sharing on our Discord.
It's been a lot of fun lately.
You have an official name now.
Yeah, we're House Dog.
All right, and you are the house dog, right? You're the domesticated beast.
Well, yeah, something like that. Yeah, you can appropriate it like that if you like.
What was the actual inspiration for it? Just being silly, or was there a thought behind it?
No, there is. No, it's that. I wrote a song recently and introduced it to the band, and lyrically it dealt with questioning satisfaction with modern life, and then, having a closer look at that, and then forgiving yourself for it too, if you're maybe not feeling like you're as up to snuff as you should be. And in that, it points out some modern luxuries, let's say, and one of the lyrics goes a house, a dog, a family and friends, and then I just mashed that together as an idea, threw it out to the band, and it resonated.
Right. So then the album will be named Family and Friends.
Oh, that's a good idea. I hadn't thought about it like that.
So Evanescence is on screen with anime in the background or something. I don't know.
Well, that sounds very cool.
I think it's a cyberpunk edging runners or something like that. I don't know. I'm not into it. Cyberpunk 2077 was free to play on PlayStation, and I recently gave it a shot. And I was mildly enjoying myself. I was like, okay, this is interesting. And then I get to a scene where I basically sit down in a chair and a man begins to start carving me open to make body modifications, including my fucking eyeball.
No.
And I was sitting there so completely ready to throw up that I'm like, I have to turn this game off and just go to bed. And I haven't touched it since. So that's my opinion of Cyberpunk.
Graphic vivisection?
Yeah, I can't handle it. And there's other things like just in life where people will be talking about surgeries, medical conditions, things they have, and I'm like, I mean no offense to you. I respect what you're going through, the things you're enduring. I cannot listen to you talk about this anymore. I'm going to throw up.
Nasty.
Because it's just how my brain responds to that stuff. Cyberpunk, probably good. Oh, no, it is not Cyberpunk. It is Devil May Cry 2, the anime. I am watching the Game Awards. My highlight here is 2 Tomb Raider games were announced.
Gnarly.
And of course, we all know what's the most important thing. When they bring Lara Croft on screen, what do you need to see from her to know it's going to be a good Tomb Raider game?
Giant magical idols from the deepest recesses of the ruins that she plumbs.
Sure, yeah. I mean, and other people would say other things.
Oh, yeah?
You need to see these on screen prominently in order to know whether you're going to enjoy it or not. I'm not going to go in that direction, Tyler. I'm going to say the best part of seeing this Lara Croft was that she wasn't panicking, telling herself, you can do this. You've got this. Go, and she wasn't like in the midst of some colossal fuck up at every 2 seconds. She was just running, gunning, shooting at dinosaurs, just the way that Hollywood god of the 90s intended, the way action movies used to be, the tentpole summer movie. And so that's always what I wanted out of her. I don't care what else she's got going on. As long as that's the character, I'm happy. And I'm just over the moon that I saw 2 trailers for 2 different games that encapsulate that. So that's pretty exciting. That's currently, of what I've watched of the Game Awards that are actively playing right now, that is my highlight. The fight is ended when I absolutely bust. No, I don't want to say this. That's a bad word to use. And this next line in here, you can cut me saying this was meant for Mael's section.
That's what I thought.
Lune's.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, I came back to type that in, put it in the wrong section.
And then, you thought you were in the Earthbound Beginnings travelogue. A basher!
Yeah. Yeah, this episode might get sent to the depths if we are so, intentionally vulgar. So maybe
I'll need to find a sound effect from the game that's an appropriate
bleeper.
Swear beeper. It's probably going to be some beautiful piano lick that's going to be just not characteristic to what we're talking about. But we'll see.